Prepare yourself for an extraordinary story that proves the purest acts of kindness often come from the youngest hearts. You're about to witness a child asked to share cake with the girl. Her dad, a CEO, cried and made an unexpected invite. A powerful tale of childhood innocence, unexpected connections, and how a simple gesture of sharing can heal wounds we didn't know existed. Before we begin this heartwarming journey, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and activate the notification bell. Your support helps us continue sharing these remarkable true stories that remind us of the transformative power of kindness. Now let's immerse ourselves in this unforgettable narrative. The birthday party at Riverside Park in Austin, Texas, was everything a 6-year-old could dream of. Bright balloons in every color imaginable bobbed in the warm September breeze, tied to picnic tables laden with treats. A bounce house dominated one corner of the reserved area, its castle turrets reaching toward the cloudless sky. The sound of children's laughter mixed with upbeat music from a portable speaker, creating the perfect soundtrack for childhood joy. Lily Chen, the birthday girl, stood at the center of it all, her black hair adorned with a glittery tiara that caught the afternoon sun. She wore her favorite dress, purple with unicorns that seemed to gallop when she twirled, which she did frequently, delighting in how the fabric spread like flower petals around her. Her mother, Grace Chen, watched from the shade of a large oak tree, capturing every moment with her phone while simultaneously managing the logistics of 20 excited 6-year-olds. "Lily, sweetie, 5 more minutes until cake time," Grace called out, checking her watch. Everything was running on schedule. Games had been played, presents had been opened, though Lily had insisted on carefully saving all the wrapping paper because it's too pretty to throw away. And now the grand finale approached. The cake was a masterpiece, 3 tiers of chocolate and vanilla swirled together, covered in purple frosting with edible glitter and topped with a unicorn that looked ready to leap off into a fairy tale. Grace had ordered it from Austin's most exclusive bakery, a splurge that her husband Michael had initially questioned but ultimately supported because, as he'd said, she only turned 6 once. Michael Chen stood near the gift table, his phone pressed to his ear as always. Even at his daughter's birthday party, the CEO of Chen Technologies couldn't completely disconnect from the world of acquisitions, board meetings, and quarterly reports. He was closing a deal that would expand his software company into the Asian market, a move that would cement his position as one of Austin's most successful entrepreneurs before his 40th birthday. "Yes, I understand the concerns about the Shanghai office," he said, his free hand gesturing unconsciously as he spoke. "But we need to—" He paused, watching Lily run past, her face glowing with happiness. "Actually, James, let me call you back in an hour. I'm at my daughter's birthday party." It was a small victory, Grace thought, watching her husband pocket his phone. Getting Michael to be present, truly present, was an ongoing challenge. He loved Lily fiercely, but expressing that love through time and attention rather than expensive gifts and prestigious schools was something he was still learning. "Daddy, come push me on the swing," Lily called out, racing toward the playground area. Michael hesitated, glancing at his phone as it buzzed with another call. Grace gave him a look that said everything without words, and he let it go to voicemail. "Coming, princess," he called back, jogging after his daughter. As Michael pushed Lily on the swing, each arc through the air accompanied by her delighted squeals, neither of them noticed the small figure standing at the edge of the park, partially hidden behind a cluster of trees. Emma Rodriguez, also 6 years old, watched the party with the kind of longing that seemed too heavy for such young shoulders. Her dark hair was pulled back in a ponytail that had come partly loose, wisps framing her face. She wore a faded pink t-shirt with a small hole near the hem, and jeans that were clean but clearly hand-me-downs, too short at the ankles. In her hand, she clutched a dollar bill, her entire savings from the Tooth Fairy's recent visit, that she'd brought hoping to buy an ice cream from the truck that sometimes came to the park. But the ice cream truck hadn't come today. Instead, there was this magical party, with its bounce house and balloons and a cake that looked like it belonged in a magazine. Emma knew she shouldn't stare, knew her mama would say it wasn't polite, but she couldn't help herself. It all looked so wonderful, like the birthday parties she'd seen on the TV shows at the laundromat while her mother did their weekly washing. Emma lived with her mother, Sophia, in a small apartment 6 blocks from the park. Sophia worked 2 jobs, cleaning offices at night and stocking shelves at a grocery store during the day. which meant Emma spent a lot of time with their elderly neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, who was kind but often fell asleep in her chair, leaving Emma to entertain herself. Today, Mrs. Patterson had brought her to the park for fresh air and exercise, before promptly dozing off on a bench near the playground. The little girl had been playing alone on the slides when the party preparations had begun. She'd watched, fascinated, as the space transformed from ordinary picnic area to birthday wonderland. When the guests started arriving, children dropped off by parents in nice cars, wearing clean new clothes, Emma had retreated to her hiding spot among the trees. She knew she didn't belong at the party, but she couldn't bring herself to leave entirely. It was like watching a real-life fairy tale unfold. "Okay, everyone, cake time!" Grace's voice carried across the park. The children swarmed toward the picnic tables like happy, chattering birds. Parents helped organize them into a somewhat orderly group as Grace carefully lit 6 candles plus 1 for good luck on the magnificent cake. Michael lifted Lily onto a chair so she could be seen by everyone as they began to sing. "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear Lily." Emma found herself mouthing the words from her hiding place, her small voice lost in the distance. She'd had a birthday recently too, though there hadn't been a party. Mama had worked late, so Mrs. Patterson had given her a cupcake with a single candle. Emma had made a wish and blown it out alone, pretending the faces on the TV were singing to her. "Make a wish, sweetie," Grace encouraged as the song ended. Lily closed her eyes tight, her face scrunched in concentration. The other children giggled and shouted suggestions. "Wish for a pony! Wish for a rocket ship! Wish for infinite candy!" But Lily had already decided on her wish weeks ago. She wished for a best friend. A real best friend, not just someone to play with at school, but someone who would understand her, who would share secrets and adventures and maybe even matching friendship bracelets. She'd been thinking about it ever since her cousin in California had visited with her best friend, and Lily had seen how they seemed to have their own language, their own world. She opened her eyes and blew out all the candles in one breath. The crowd erupted in cheers and applause. Grace began cutting the cake, placing generous slices on unicorn-themed paper plates. The children waited with varying degrees of patience, some bouncing in place, others trying to sneak fingers full of frosting when they thought no one was looking. It was then that Lily saw her. The girl by the trees was trying to hide, but Lily had always been observant. Too observant, her teacher sometimes said, easily distracted by things others didn't notice. She saw how the girl watched them, saw the way she held herself apart, but couldn't look away. Most of all, Lily saw the longing in her eyes, a mirror of her own loneliness, despite being surrounded by 20 party guests who were nice enough, but not really friends, not the way she wanted. Without thinking, without asking permission, without considering any of the social rules that adults would have worried about, Lily did what 6-year-olds do best. She acted on pure instinct and emotion. She climbed down from her chair, picked up 2 plates of cake, one with a corner piece that had extra frosting and a sugar unicorn horn, the best piece besides her own, and walked straight toward the trees. "Lily, honey, where are you going?" Grace called after her, but Lily was already too far away to hear over the party noise. Emma saw the birthday girl approaching and panicked. She was going to get in trouble. She shouldn't have been watching. Mama always said not to bother people, not to go where she wasn't invited. She turned to run, but Lily's voice stopped her. "Hi, I'm Lily. It's my birthday. Do you want cake?" Emma turned back slowly, hardly believing what she was hearing. The birthday girl was right there in her purple princess dress, holding out a plate of the most beautiful cake Emma had ever seen. I'm not at your party," Emma stammered. "You are now," Lily said simply, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "I saw you watching. Do you like unicorns? This piece has the horn. It's the best part." Emma looked at the cake, then at Lily's open, smiling face. There was no trick here, no mean joke like sometimes happened at school, just a girl offering cake. "I'm Emma," she said quietly. "Hi, Emma. Come on, you can sit with me. We can share my birthday chair. It's special, it has ribbons on it." Before Emma could protest, Lily had grabbed her free hand with the one not holding cake and was pulling her toward the party. Emma's dollar bill fell from her other hand, forgotten in the grass. If you're moved by this innocent act of kindness, please remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell to follow this extraordinary journey of how a child's simple gesture of sharing transforms multiple lives in ways no one could have predicted. Michael was in the middle of helping serve juice boxes when he saw Lily returning with another child, a girl he didn't recognize, whose clothes and tentative posture immediately marked her as not one of the invited guests. His first instinct was concern. Who was this child? Where were her parents? Was this safe? But then he saw Lily's face, animated in a way he rarely witnessed. She was talking rapidly to the girl, gesturing with her cake plate, her whole body radiating joy at having someone to share with. And the other girl, despite her obvious discomfort at being pulled into this world of plenty, was listening with rapt attention, a tiny smile beginning to bloom on her face. "Grace," Michael said quietly to his wife, nodding toward the approaching children. Grace looked up from cutting cake and saw the same thing Michael did. But where Michael saw potential complications, Grace saw something else. Her daughter, who often seemed lonely despite their best efforts to arrange playdates and activities, genuinely connecting with another child. "Mommy, Daddy, this is Emma," Lily announced proudly. "She's my new friend. She was watching the party, and I thought she should have cake because everyone should have cake on birthdays, even if it's not their birthday." "Hello, Emma," Grace said warmly, shooting Michael a look that said, "Be nice." "Welcome to Lily's party." Emma looked up at these adults, the pretty woman in the sundress and the man in the polo shirt that probably cost more than her mama made in a week, and felt very small. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I wasn't trying to. I was just at the park." "There's nothing to be sorry for," Grace assured her. "Any friend of Lily's is welcome here. Would you like some juice to go with your cake?" Emma nodded, still overwhelmed. Lily pulled her to sit on the special birthday chair, and true to her word, shared it. The two girls squeezed together on a seat meant for one. They ate their cake in the comfortable way children have, focused entirely on the sweetness, and not at all on the socio-economic gulf between them. "Where do you go to school?" Lily asked between bites. "Riverside Elementary," Emma replied. "That's my school too. What teacher do you have?" "Ms. Johnson. I have Mr. Peters. He's nice, but he gives us too much homework. Do you like reading?" "I love reading." Emma's face lit up. "But I've read all the books in our class library already." "You can borrow mine," Lily offered immediately. "I have tons. My favorite is about a dragon who's afraid of flying." Michael watched this exchange with an unexpected tightness in his throat. He'd been so focused on providing Lily with everything, the best schools, the best opportunities, the best parties, that he'd somehow missed providing her with this, a genuine friend. And this girl, Emma, with her worn clothes and shy smile, had given Lily something in 5 minutes that all his money hadn't been able to buy. "Excuse me, is this your daughter?" Michael turned to find an elderly woman, breathing heavily from the walk across the park, looking concerned. "I'm Mrs. Patterson," she said. "I was watching Emma, that's her there with your girl, and I must have dozed off. When I woke up she was gone. I'm so sorry if she bothered you." "She didn't bother anyone," Michael said quickly. "Lily invited her to have cake. They seem to be getting along wonderfully." Mrs. Patterson looked relieved but also embarrassed. "Emma's a good girl. Very quiet, never any trouble. Her mother works so hard, you know. 2 jobs, sometimes 3. I try to help when I can, but I'm not as young as I used to be." "Where is her mother now?" Grace asked, joining the conversation. "Working? She cleans the Frostbank building downtown on Saturdays. Won't be done until evening." Michael knew the Frostbank building. His company had offices on the 15th floor. He'd probably passed Emma's mother 100 times without really seeing her. The way you don't really see the people who clean your world, who keep it running smoothly while remaining invisible. "Emma can stay for the rest of the party," Grace offered. "If that's all right with you, Mrs. Patterson." The elderly woman's face crumpled with gratitude. "Oh, that would be. She'd love that. She doesn't get to go to many parties. Her birthday was last month, but Sophia, that's her mama, had to work. We did our best, but—" She trailed off, the rest of the sentence unnecessary. Michael excused himself and walked a little distance away, pulling out his phone not for business this time, but to look at something else. He pulled up the cleaning company's employee roster. Being on the board of the Frostbank building had its privileges. There she was, Sophia Rodriguez, employed for 3 years, perfect attendance record, no complaints. Single mother, the file noted. Emergency contact, Mrs. Elaine Patterson, neighbor. He looked back at Emma and Lily, now teaching each other hand-clapping games, their laughter bright and genuine. Emma's face had transformed, the wariness replaced by joy, and Lily looked happier than he'd seen her in months. The party continued with Emma as an unexpected but welcome addition. She participated shyly at first in the games, but Lily stayed by her side, including her in everything. When they did the piñata, Lily insisted Emma take a turn right after her. When they played musical chairs, Lily deliberately got out early so she could cheer Emma on. "Your daughter is very kind," Mrs. Patterson said to Grace, watching the two girls. "She gets that from her mother," Michael said, joining them. It was true, Grace had always been the one to remind him about thank you notes, about donating to food drives, about treating everyone with respect regardless of their position. "Don't sell yourself short," Grace replied, squeezing his hand. "You have your moments too." As the party wound down and parents began arriving to collect their children, Emma grew quieter, knowing this magical interlude was ending. She helped collect trash without being asked, carefully folding her unicorn plate as a keepsake. "Emma," Lily said urgently, "we need to make a plan to play again. Can you come to my house? Or I could come to yours." Emma's face fell. "I don't think. My apartment is really small, and Mama works all the time. We'll figure something out," Grace said, overhearing. "Michael, don't you have business cards in the car?" Michael retrieved a card and handed it to Mrs. Patterson. "Please have Emma's mother call us. We'd love to arrange for the girls to spend time together." Mrs. Patterson took the card with shaking hands, recognizing the company name. "You're that Michael Chen, the one in the newspaper, the tech company?" "Guilty as charged," Michael said with a self-deprecating smile. "But today I'm just Lily's dad, and Lily has clearly decided that Emma is her new best friend." "Best friend forever," Lily corrected, linking her arm through Emma's. "We already decided." As Emma left with Mrs. Patterson, clutching a goodie bag that Grace had hastily assembled and the business card that might change everything, she turned back to wave. Lily waved back enthusiastically, already planning all the things they would do together. "Daddy," Lily said as they cleaned up the party supplies, "that was the best part of my birthday." "The bounce house," Michael guessed. "The cake?" "No, silly. Meeting Emma. She's going to be my best friend, I just know it." Michael felt that tightness in his throat again. "How do you know?" "Because when I talked to her, she listened with her whole self. And when she smiled, it was real. Not like when kids at school pretend to be nice because their mums told them to. And she loves books like me. And she didn't have any cake until I shared mine, which means I got to give her something special." The wisdom of 6-year-olds, Michael thought. So simple, so profound. That evening, after Lily had fallen asleep surrounded by her new birthday presents, Michael sat in his home office, but for once, he wasn't working. Instead, he was thinking about Emma, about her mother working 2 jobs, about Mrs. Patterson struggling to provide childcare, about all the invisible people who kept the world running while barely keeping themselves afloat. His phone rang. The caller ID showed an unknown number. "Hello? Mr. Chen, this is Sophia Rodriguez, Emma's mother. Mrs. Patterson gave me your card." The voice was tired but warm, with a slight accent that suggested English wasn't her first language, but one she'd mastered through necessity. "Ms. Rodriguez, thank you for calling. I hope Emma told you about meeting Lily today. She hasn't stopped talking about it." There was a smile in Sophia's voice. "She said your daughter shared her birthday cake with her. That was very kind. Lily seems to think Emma did her the favor. She's been wanting a real friend, and apparently Emma is exactly what she was looking for." There was a pause. "Mr. Chen, I appreciate your kindness, but I know who you are. I clean your office building. We don't run in the same circles." "Our daughters don't care about circles," Michael said gently. "They care about friendship, and frankly, I think Lily could learn a lot from Emma. Your daughter helped clean up after the party without being asked. She was polite, kind, and made Lily happier than I've seen her in a long time." "Emma is a good girl," Sophia said, pride evident despite her exhaustion. "Listen, I have a proposition. My wife and I both work, and while we have childcare for Lily, she's been asking for more play dates, more friend time. What if we arrange for Emma to come over after school a couple of days a week? They could do homework together, play, just be kids. We could pick them both up from school and bring Emma home after dinner." Silence on the other end. Then, "Mr. Chen, that's very generous, but I can't accept charity. It's not charity. You'd be doing us a favor. Lily is an only child and she needs a friend. Emma would be helping us as much as we'd be helping you. I don't know. Think about it. No pressure. But Lily is already planning all the things she wants to do with her new best friend, and I'd hate to disappoint her. After Sophia agreed to consider it, and they ended the call, Michael sat in his office for a long time. He thought about his own childhood, comfortable but not wealthy, his parents working hard to give him opportunities. He thought about how easily he'd forgotten those struggles once success came, how invisible people like Sophia had become to him. Grace found him there an hour later, still sitting in the dark. "You okay?" she asked, turning on a lamp. "Lily gave away the best piece of cake today," he said. Without hesitation, without thinking about it, she saw someone who needed cake and shared hers. "When did I stop doing that?" Grace sat on the arm of his chair. "You're doing it now. That phone call with Sophia, I heard part of it. You're sharing our cake. It's not enough. It's a start." Monday morning came grey and drizzly, unusual for Austin in September. Michael was in his office by 7 a.m., but instead of diving into emails and reports, he was making different kinds of calls. "Jim, it's Michael Chen. I need to ask you about the cleaning crew contracts for the building. No, nothing's wrong. I'm curious about the wages and benefits. They don't get health insurance, sick days." By noon, he'd learned more about the invisible workforce that kept his building running than he'd known in 5 years of having an office there. The cleaners were contracted through a third-party company that kept costs low by providing minimal benefits. No health insurance, no paid sick days, no vacation time. Sophia Rodriguez and her colleagues were working 2 or 3 jobs not out of ambition, but out of desperate necessity. That afternoon, Lily came home from school bouncing with excitement. "Mommy, Daddy, guess what? Emma's in the library at lunch just like me. We ate together and she told me about all the books she's read, and I told her about mine, and we're going to start a book club, just the 2 of us." "That's wonderful, sweetheart," Grace said, helping Lily with her backpack. "Can she come over, please? Her mum works late and Mrs. Patterson sleeps a lot, and Emma says she gets lonely." Michael and Grace exchanged looks. Sophia hadn't called back about their offer yet. "Let me make a call," Michael said. He called Sophia's cell, which went straight to voicemail. She was probably working. He tried Mrs. Patterson next. "Oh, Mr. Chen," the elderly woman said when she answered. "I was just going to call you. I'm afraid I'm not feeling well today. Nothing serious, just my arthritis acting up, but I don't think I can watch Emma properly this afternoon." "We can pick her up," Michael said immediately. "Both girls from school. Emma can stay with us until her mother gets off work." "Oh, that would be such a help. I'll call the school and let them know you have permission." An hour later, Michael found himself in the pickup line at Riverside Elementary, his Tesla looking out of place among the minivans and SUVs. When the girls spotted him, their faces lit up identically, Lily with expected joy, Emma with surprised delight. "Mr. Chen," Emma said shyly as she climbed into the back seat next to Lily. "Thank you for picking me up." "Our pleasure, Emma. Lily's been telling me about your lunchtime book club. We're reading the same book, and we're going to talk about it every day," Lily explained excitedly. "Emma reads really fast. She's already on chapter 5. "I read when Mum was at work," Emma explained. "Mrs. Patterson has cable, but I like books better." At home, a sprawling house in Westlake Hills that made Emma's eyes widen, the girls immediately fell into easy friendship. They did homework at the kitchen table, Lily helping Emma with math while Emma helped Lily with spelling. They had a snack of apple slices and peanut butter, Emma carefully eating exactly half of what was offered. They played in Lily's room, Emma gentle and careful with toys that were newer and nicer than anything she'd ever owned. Grace, working from home that afternoon, found herself checking on them frequently, not out of concern, but out of wonder. Lily had had playdates before, orchestrated affairs with children of family friends or business associates, but this was different. This was natural, genuine, real. At 5:30, Michael's phone rang. Sophia, panicked. "Mr. Chen, Mrs. Patterson just told me you have Emma. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for you to—" "Ms. Rodriguez, it's fine. The girls are having a wonderful time. When do you get off work?" "Not until 9. I'm at my second job now. But I can leave. I can come get her." "Please don't. Emma's welcome here. We're about to have dinner. She can eat with us, and I'll bring her home whenever you're ready." "Mr. Chen, I don't know what to say." "Say yes. Let us help. The girls are so happy together." There was a long pause, then a quiet, "Okay, thank you." Dinner was revealing. Emma ate slowly, savoring each bite of the simple spaghetti and meatballs Grace had made, as if memorizing the taste. She used her napkin carefully, said please and thank you without prompting, and offered to help clear the table. "Emma," Grace said gently, "you're our guest. You don't need to help. Mama says we should always help, even when we're guests. Especially when we're guests. That's how people know to invite you back." Lily immediately stood up. "Then I'll help too. We can do it together." Watching the two girls clear the table, chatting about their favorite parts of the book they were reading, Michael felt something shift in his chest. It was the same feeling he'd had at the party, but stronger now. This wasn't just about Lily having a friend. This was about something bigger. At 9:15, Michael drove Emma home, Lily insisting on coming along to see where my best friend lives. The apartment complex was clean but tired-looking, the kind of place people lived when they were doing their best with limited resources. Sophia was waiting outside, still in her work uniform from the grocery store, exhaustion written in every line of her body. "Mama!" Emma ran to her mother, hugging her tightly. "I had the best day. Lily and I read together and did homework and had dinner and—" "Slow down, Mija," Sophia said, smiling despite her tiredness. She looked up at Michael. "Mr. Chen, I can't thank you enough." "No thanks necessary. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about making this a regular thing." He explained his proposal, picking up both girls after school on Tuesdays and Thursdays, keeping Emma until Sophia got off work. "It would help us too," he insisted. "Lily needs a friend, a real friend, and Emma is perfect." Sophia looked at her daughter's hopeful face, then at Lily, who had climbed out of the car and was holding Emma's hand. "Please, Ms. Rodriguez?" Lily said. "Emma's my best friend. I wished for her on my birthday." Something in Sophia's expression cracked. "Okay," she whispered. "Yes, thank you." The arrangement began the next week and immediately felt right. The girls were inseparable at school, their friendship transcending the usual social hierarchies of elementary school. Emma's quiet intelligence complemented Lily's exuberance. Lily's confidence helped Emma come out of her shell. But it was the second Thursday that changed everything. Michael had left work early to pick up the girls himself, instead of sending the driver. He'd been doing that more often, finding that the 20-minute drive with two chattering 6-year-olds was more refreshing than any business meeting. When he arrived at the school, only Lily was waiting. "Where's Emma?" he asked. "She wasn't at school today," Lily said, worry creasing her young face. "I saved her my chocolate milk at lunch, but she wasn't there." Michael called Mrs. Patterson, who sounded distressed. "Oh, Mr. Chen, I've been trying to reach Sophia all day. Emma's sick, poor thing. High fever since last night. Sophia had to go to work anyway. She can't afford to miss a day, you understand. I'm doing my best, but I don't drive anymore, and the child needs a doctor." "I'm coming over," Michael said immediately. He found Emma on Mrs. Patterson's couch, flushed with fever, clearly miserable. Mrs. Patterson had done her best with cool washcloths and children's Tylenol, but it was obvious the child needed medical attention. "Emma, sweetie, I'm going to take you to the doctor, okay?" Michael said gently. "We don't have insurance," Emma whispered. "Mama said if I get sick, I have to get better on my own." Michael's heart broke. "Don't worry about that. Let's just get you feeling better." He bundled Emma in a blanket, Lily holding her hand the entire time, and drove not to a clinic but to Austin Children's Hospital, where his company's executive health plan ensured immediate, comprehensive care. The pediatrician, Dr. Martinez, diagnosed strep throat with a secondary ear infection. "Good thing you brought her in," she told Michael. "Another day or two and this could have become serious." As Emma received antibiotics and IV fluids for dehydration, Lily sat by her bed, reading aloud from their book. Michael stepped into the hallway to call Sophia. "Miss Rodriguez, don't panic, but Emma's with me at Children's Hospital." "What? Oh God, no, is she—" "She's going to be fine. Strep throat and an ear infection. She's getting antibiotics now. But Sophia, she needs rest and care for the next few days. I can't miss work. I'll lose my job. We'll lose the apartment. I don't know what to—" Her voice broke into sobs. "Sophia, listen to me. Emma can stay with us. We have a guest room. You can come by after work. Stay too if you want. But let us help. Please." "Why?" Sophia asked through her tears. "Why are you doing this?" Michael thought about it. Why was he doing this? The simple answer was for Lily, But that wasn't the whole truth anymore. Because 6 weeks ago, my daughter shared her birthday cake with yours. And in that moment, Emma gave Lily something I couldn't buy with all the money in the world. True friendship. This is the least I can do in return. Sophia was quiet for a long moment. I'll be there as soon as I can get off. It was 11 p.m. when Sophia arrived at the hospital. Emma was sleeping peacefully, the antibiotics already working their magic. Lily had fallen asleep in the chair beside her bed, still holding Emma's hand. Sophia looked at the scene and started crying silently. Michael guided her to the hallway. I try so hard, she whispered. I work every hour I can, but it's never enough. I can't even take care of my baby when she's sick. You're doing an amazing job, Michael said firmly. Emma is kind, polite, intelligent and caring. That's all you, but no one should have to do it alone. I've been alone since Emma's father left when she was 2, said he wasn't ready for the responsibility. Well, you're not alone anymore. Emma has Lily, and that means you have us too. Sophia looked at him with a mixture of gratitude and suspicion. People like you don't usually help people like me without wanting something. What I want, Michael said carefully, is for my daughter to grow up knowing that true friendship doesn't care about bank accounts. What I want is for Emma to have the chances she deserves. What I want is to stop being the kind of person who walks past people like you without seeing them. You're not what I expected, Sophia said. When Mrs. Patterson said who you were, I thought, well, I've cleaned a lot of rich people's offices. Most of them don't even know we exist. I was one of them, Michael admitted, until Lily saw Emma at the park and decided to share her cake. 6-year-olds see the world more clearly than adults, don't they? They see people as people, Sophia agreed, before the world teaches them to see differences. Emma stayed with the Chens for 3 days, with Sophia coming by each evening after work. By the second day, she was comfortable enough to accept Grace's offer to do her laundry at their house instead of the laundromat. By the third day, she was joining them for dinner. I haven't had a home-cooked meal I didn't cook myself in years, Sophia admitted over Grace's pot roast. You should come more often, Grace said. It's nice having another adult to talk to. Michael's wonderful, but his idea of conversation is usually about server loads and market penetration. Hey, Michael protested, making the girls giggle. It became a pattern. Tuesday and Thursday dinners with Sophia joining when she could. Weekend playdates that turned into family outings. Lily's world expanding beyond her privileged bubble. Emma gaining confidence and opportunities. But the real change came in October, a month after Emma's illness. Michael called an emergency board meeting at Chen Technologies, unusual enough to have the board members grumbling about disrupted schedules. This better be important, Chen, said Richard Blackstone, the lead investor. It is, Michael said, pulling up a presentation. I want to talk about our cleaning contracts. Cleaning contracts? That's an operations issue, not a board issue. It's a moral issue, which makes it a board issue, Michael countered. He presented his research. The wages, the lack of benefits, the impossible math of trying to live on what they paid. These people clean our offices, maintain our environment, make it possible for us to work in comfort and health. And we pay them so little they need 2 or 3 jobs just to survive. Some of them can't afford to take their sick children to the doctor. Market rate is market rate, Blackstone said dismissively. Market rate is exploitation, Michael shot back. I'm proposing we bring all cleaning and maintenance in-house. Full employees with benefits, living wages, sick leave, vacation time. That would cost millions annually. We made $200 million in profit last year. I think we can afford to pay the people who clean our toilets enough to live with dignity. This is bleeding heart nonsense. This is the right thing to do, Michael interrupted. And if you want to talk practical, employee satisfaction and retention in companies with ethical practices consistently outperform. Michael, said Janet Wong, another board member, does this have anything to do with that viral video of you at the hospital with a child who wasn't yours? Someone had filmed Michael carrying Emma into the hospital, Lily beside him. It had circulated on social media with various captions speculating about the relationship. Michael had ignored it, but apparently the board hadn't. That child, Michael said, is the daughter of someone who cleans our building, someone who couldn't afford to take her sick daughter to the doctor, despite working 60 hours a week. If that doesn't bother you, I'm not sure we share the same values. The vote was close, 5-4, but it passed. Chen Technologies would bring all support staff in-house by January 1st. Michael called Sophia immediately after the meeting. I wanted you to be the first to know. Starting January 1st, you'll be a full employee of Chen Technologies if you want. Health insurance, retirement plan, paid vacation, and a salary that means you'll only need one job. Sophia was silent for so long, Michael thought the call had dropped. Sophia, I'm here, she said, her voice thick. No one's ever... Why? Because Lily shared her cake. Because Emma shares her friendship. Because you share your daughter with us even though we're strangers who happen to get lucky in the capitalism lottery. It's just cake, Sophia. We're just sharing cake. The news of Chen Technologies' new employment policies made business headlines. Tech CEO's radical approach to income inequality. The birthday cake that changed a company. From cleaning lady to full employee, Chen Technologies' moral revolution. But for Michael, the headlines were less important than the small moments. Emma and Lily doing homework together. Sophia able to attend Emma's school play because she didn't have to work 3 jobs. Grace and Sophia becoming genuine friends, bonding over the challenges of raising strong daughters. The Thursday before Thanksgiving, both families were gathered at the Chen house. It had become their tradition, Thursday dinners, but this one was special. Emma was teaching Lily to make paper turkeys, a craft she'd learned at the library's free program. Sophia and Grace were in the kitchen, laughing over some shared story about their daughter's latest adventure. Michael sat watching it all, marveling at how his life had changed. "Daddy," Lily said, bringing him a paper turkey with his name on it. "Are you happy?" "Very happy, Princess, are you?" "The happiest. I have a best friend and Emma's mommy is friends with mommy, and you don't work as much anymore, and everything is perfect." "Not everything is perfect, Lily. Emma and her mom still face challenges we don't. But we're helping, right? That's what friends do." "That's exactly what friends do." Later that evening, after dinner, Sophia pulled Michael aside. "I need to tell you something," she said. "Emma's father contacted me. He saw the news stories about Chen Technologies, figured out I was the cleaning lady in the articles. He wants to meet Emma." Michael felt a protective anger flare. After 4 years of nothing, he says he's changed. Has a good job now, married. Wants to do right by Emma. "What do you want?" "I want what's best for Emma. But I don't trust him. And I don't want anything to change. These last 2 months, Emma's been happier than I've ever seen her." "Nothing has to change," Michael assured her. "Whatever happens with Emma's father, she and Lily are best friends. That's not going away. Promise?" "I promise. Lily would never forgive me if I let anything come between her and Emma." The meeting with Emma's father, Marcus, happened the Sunday after Thanksgiving. Michael and Grace insisted on being there for support. Lily appointed herself Emma's protection squad, a term she'd learned from a book. Marcus was younger than Michael had expected, maybe 30, wearing khakis and a button-down that looked new and uncomfortable. He brought a teddy bear that was too young for a 6-year-old and a gilt that was too old for anyone. "Emma," he said, kneeling down, "I'm your daddy. Do you remember me?" Emma pressed closer to Sophia. "No. I left when you were little. That was wrong. I'm sorry." "Why did you leave?" Emma asked, with the directness only children possess. Marcus flinched. "I was scared. I was young and stupid and scared. But I want to make it right now." "How?" This from Lily, who had positioned herself slightly in front of Emma like a tiny bodyguard. "I want to be in Emma's life. Pay child support. Maybe have visits." "Do you want to be in my life because you love me or because you saw us on the news?" Emma asked, and the adults all froze at the perceptiveness of the question. Both? I mean, the news made me realize what I was missing, but you missed my birthdays," Emma said matter-of-factly. 4 of them. And when I was sick with pneumonia when I was 4, and my first day of school, and when I learned to read by myself because Mama had to work. Each missed moment was a small dagger, delivered without malice but with devastating effect. "I know, I'm sorry, I want to make up for it." "You can't make up for it," Emma said, "but you can be better going forward. That's what Ms. Grace says when Lily and I fight. We can't change what we did, but we can be better going forward." The wisdom of 6-year-olds once again. Marcus started paying child support and had supervised visits once a month. Emma was polite, but reserved with him, referring to him as Marcus, never Daddy. That title, she informed him, had to be earned. Meanwhile, the friendship between the 2 girls deepened. They were in the same 2nd grade class now, the school having agreed to the placement after both families requested it. They were known as a unit, Lily and Emma, or Emma and Lily. never just one without the other. Their birthday parties were combined affairs now, despite being months apart, because, as Lily said, why would we want to celebrate without each other? At Chen Technologies, the new employment policies had an unexpected effect. Productivity increased. Employee loyalty skyrocketed. Other companies began reaching out, wanting to understand the model. Michael found himself speaking at conferences not about technology, but about human dignity. It started with a birthday cake. He would begin his speeches. My daughter saw someone who didn't have cake and shared hers. That simple act taught me more about business than any MBA program could. One evening in March, as spring began to warm Austin, Michael came home to find Lily and Emma in the backyard, planting a garden with Sophia and Grace. "What's this?" he asked. "We're growing vegetables," Lily explained. "Emma's mom knows how to grow everything. She's teaching us." "My mama had a garden in Mexico," Sophia said, her hands deep in the soil. "She taught me that if you have land, you grow food. It's respect for the earth and insurance against hunger." "We're going to have tomatoes and peppers and squash," Emma added excitedly. "And when they grow, we're going to share them with Mrs. Patterson and anyone else who needs vegetables." "Sharing cake wasn't enough," Lily said seriously. "We want to share everything." Michael looked at Grace, who was smiling with tears in her eyes. Their daughter, who'd had everything from birth, was learning the joy of giving. Emma, who'd had so little, was teaching them all about abundance of spirit. "Can I help?" Michael asked. "You need different clothes," Emma said, looking at his suit. "Gardening is messy." "The best things usually are," Michael replied, heading inside to change. As the sun set over their shared garden, two families that shouldn't have intersected worked side by side, planting seeds that would grow into more than vegetables. They were growing a new kind of family, one bound not by blood or economics, but by the simple recognition that everyone deserves cake, especially on birthdays, but really on any day when cake can be shared. The first harvest from the garden came in June. Tomatoes so red they looked like jewels, peppers with perfect green shine, squash abundant beyond their expectations. "We did this," Emma exclaimed, holding a tomato like a trophy. "Together," Lily added, the word that had become their motto. They made salsa from their harvest, Sophia teaching all of them her mother's recipe. They delivered bags of vegetables to Mrs. Patterson and other elderly neighbors. They brought produce to the food bank, Lily and Emma proudly telling everyone that they'd grown it themselves. "From our sharing garden," Emma explained to the food bank coordinator. "Because everyone should have fresh vegetables," Lily added. The coordinator, a woman who'd seen a lot in her years of service, had to turn away to wipe her eyes. That summer, Michael did something that shocked the business world. He announced that Chen Technologies would reserve 10% of all new hires for people from economically disadvantaged backgrounds, with full training provided. "We're calling it the Sharing Cake Initiative," he said at the press conference, "because a birthday cake shared with a stranger taught me that talent exists everywhere, but opportunity doesn't." The first hire under the initiative was Marcus, Emma's father, who'd been working minimum wage jobs while trying to rebuild his life. He started in the mailroom with the understanding that Chen Technologies would pay for his community college courses in computer science. "Everyone deserves second chances," Michael told the skeptical board members, "even people who walked away from their responsibilities, maybe especially them because they have the most to prove." Marcus worked harder than anyone, determined to prove himself worthy of the chance and, more importantly, worthy of Emma's slowly growing trust. Emma watched him carefully, still calling him Marcus, but occasionally letting him help with her homework or attend her soccer games. Fall arrived with its promise of new beginnings. Both girls were in third grade now, still inseparable. Their test scores were among the highest in their grade. Emma's natural intelligence flourishing with resources and support, Lily's privilege balanced with empathy and understanding. But it was a random Tuesday in November that brought everything full circle. Michael was in his office when his assistant announced visitors. Sophia entered with an elderly woman Michael didn't recognize, followed by Lily and Emma, who should have been in school. "Mr. Chen," Sophia said formally, "this is my mother, Rosa Martinez. She just arrived from Mexico. I wanted her to meet you." Rosa was smaller than Sophia, weathered by years of hard work, but her eyes were sharp and kind. She said something in Spanish to Sophia, who translated. "She says thank you for taking care of her girls, both of us. She says—" Sophia paused, getting emotional. She says you have proven that there are still good people in the world who share their blessings. Rosa stepped forward and handed Michael something wrapped in cloth. It was a handmade blanket, intricate and beautiful. She made this for you, Sophia explained. It took her 3 months. Every stitch is a prayer for your family's happiness. Michael was speechless, running his hands over the blanket's detailed work. This is too much. Rosa said something else in Spanish, and this time Emma translated, her young voice proud of her bilingual ability. Grandma says that when someone shares their cake, you share your talents. She says the blanket will keep your family warm, but the real warmth comes from what you've given us. That afternoon, they all had lunch together. Michael, Grace, Sophia, Rosa, Lily, and Emma. The girls had convinced their teacher that meeting Emma's grandmother was an important cultural education experience, and surprisingly, she'd agreed. As they ate the tamales Rosa had insisted on making, Michael watched the two families that had become one. Sophia and Grace planning the girls' combined birthday party next month, Rosa teaching Lily Spanish words, Emma and Lily working on a presentation about their sharing garden for their school's community service fair. Mr. Chen, Rosa said in accented but clear English. She spoke more than she'd let on. You know why this happened? Why what happened? All of this. The girls, the friendship, the changes. She smiled. It's because children see with God's eyes. They see souls, not stuff. Lily saw Emma's soul and wanted to share. You saw what Lily saw and chose to follow a child's wisdom. That's very rare. Lily's always been special, Michael said. All children are special. But not all children get to show it. You let both girls show they're special. That evening, after Rosa and Sophia had gone home, after the girls had finally exhausted themselves planning a joint presentation about friendship across economic lines, their teacher's term, which they found hilarious, Michael and Grace sat in their living room under Rosa's blanket. Our life is completely different than it was a year ago, Grace observed. Better or worse? Better. Infinitely better. Messier more complicated, but better. Lily's different too. She's who she was always meant to be. She just needed Emma to show her. And Emma's becoming who she could always have been, given the chance. The birthday cake that changed everything, Michael mused. The birthday girl who chose to share, Grace corrected. The cake was just cake until Lily decided to share it. A year passed. Then 2. The girls grew from 6 to 8 to 10, their friendship never wavering. Chen Technologies became the most sought-after employer in Austin, known for treating every employee from CEO to janitor with equal dignity. The Sharing Cake initiative expanded to include scholarships, internships, and mentorship programs. Sophia, promoted several times, now managed the entire facilities department. She'd bought a small house 2 blocks from the Chens, close enough for the girls to bike between homes, far enough to maintain independence. Marcus had worked his way from the mailroom to junior programmer, finally earning what he'd never thought possible, Emma calling him Dad instead of Marcus. It happened on a random Thursday when he'd fixed her computer, and she'd said, "Thanks, Dad," without thinking, then froze, realizing what she'd said. He'd cried right there in the middle of the Chen Technologies cafeteria. Mrs. Patterson had passed away peacefully in her sleep the previous winter, but not before seeing Emma and Lily win the district science fair with their project on sustainable gardening. She'd left her small savings to Emma's college fund, saying a girl that smart deserved every chance. Rosa had moved in with Sophia permanently, becoming the grandmother figure Lily had never had. She taught both girls to cook, to sew, to speak Spanish, and most importantly, to remember that wealth wasn't measured in money, but in relationships. On Lily's 10th birthday, the party was smaller than that elaborate affair 4 years earlier. Just family, but family now included Sophia, Rosa, Marcus, and of course Emma. There was still cake, homemade this time by Rosa and the girls, lopsided but made with love. "Make a wish," everyone chanted, as Lily prepared to blow out her candles. "I don't need to," Lily said, looking around the table. "I already got my wish 4 years ago. I wished for a best friend, and I got so much more. I got a whole family." "That's cheesy," Emma said, but she was smiling through tears. "Cheesy, but true," Lily insisted. "Now you make a wish too. It's not your birthday, but birthdays should be shared." Emma closed her eyes, thought for a moment, then blew out half the candles, leaving half for Lily. "What did you wish for?" Lily asked. "That nothing changes, that we stay like this forever. We can't stay the same age forever, Lily pointed out practically. No, but we can stay us forever. Best friends, sisters, family. Forever, Lily agreed, and they blew out the remaining candles together. Michael, watching from across the table, thought about the journey from that first shared piece of cake to this moment. The board meetings he'd fought through, the policies he'd changed, the lives that had been transformed. All because a 6-year-old had seen another child without cake and decided to share. "You okay?" Grace asked quietly, noticing his emotional expression. "Just thinking about ripples," he said. Ripples? One piece of shared cake, and look at the ripples it created. The ripples had indeed spread far. Other companies in Austin had adopted similar employment policies, not wanting to be outdone by Chen Technologies. The Sharing Cake initiative had been replicated in 12 other cities. A children's book had been written about Lily and Emma's friendship, with proceeds going to providing birthday parties for children whose families couldn't afford them. But the biggest ripple was the one Michael could see right in front of him. 2 girls, from completely different worlds, who'd become sisters in every way that mattered, who'd taught their parents that sharing cake was really about sharing life, with all its joys and challenges and unexpected blessings. 5 more years passed. Lily and Emma were 15 now, navigating high school together at Austin's School for Science and Technology, both on full scholarships. Lily had insisted on earning hers rather than having her father pay. They were different in many ways, Lily outgoing and theatrical, Emma quiet and studious, but their friendship had only deepened. They'd weathered middle school dramas, first crushes, academic pressures, and family challenges together. Marcus had married a woman named Jennifer, who understood and accepted his complicated relationship with Emma. They'd given Emma a half-sister, Carmen, whom Emma adored and protected fiercely. Sophia had found love too, with David Park, Chen Technologies head of security, a widower with twin boys. Their blended family was chaotic but happy, Rosa at the center keeping everyone fed and grounded. The Chen family had expanded as well. Grace had given birth to twins when Lily was 12. Boys named Samuel and James, who were being raised with the same values Lily had learned, that everyone deserved cake, that sharing multiplied rather than divided, that true wealth was measured in relationships. The birthday party tradition continued, though now it was less about parties and more about service. Each year on Lily's birthday, both families would volunteer together, serving meals at shelters, organizing donation drives, planting community gardens. "Remember when birthdays were just about cake?" Emma asked Lily as they sorted donated clothes at a community center. "They were never just about cake," Lily replied. "That first shared piece was about seeing each other, really seeing each other. We were 6. I don't think we were that philosophical. We were smarter at 6 than most adults. We knew that friendship mattered more than stuff." "Still true," Emma agreed. As they worked, Michael watched them, these 2 young women who'd changed his life's trajectory. He thought about the man he'd been before, successful but blind to the struggles of others, wealthy but poor in understanding, powerful but powerless to create real change. A little girl sharing cake had changed all that. Chen Technologies was now studied in business schools, not for its technology innovations, but for its human resources revolution. The company had proven that treating all employees with dignity wasn't just morally right, but economically smart. They'd had 0 employee turnover in support staff for 3 years running. Michael had stepped back from day-to-day operations, focusing instead on the Chen Foundation, which provided birthday parties for thousands of children, funded after-school programs, and supported families struggling with the impossible math of minimum wage survival. But his proudest achievement sat across from him at the sorting table, Lily, who'd grown into a young woman who saw people clearly, who stood up for others, who understood that privilege came with responsibility. "Dad," Lily said, noticing his attention, "you're being weird and sentimental again." "Can't help it. I'm remembering a little girl in a purple unicorn dress who changed everything with a piece of cake." "It was good cake," Lily said with a grin. "The best cake," Emma agreed. That evening, both families gathered at the Chen house for dinner, as they did every Thursday. It had been their tradition for nearly a decade now, Thursday dinners where everyone contributed something, where English and Spanish mixed freely, where the boys played with Carmen while the teenagers talked about college plans. "I got in," Emma announced suddenly, pulling a letter from her backpack. "MIT, full scholarship." The table erupted. Sophia cried. Rosa prayed in Spanish. Marcus hugged his daughter so tight she squeaked. David high-fived her. The twins cheered without fully understanding why. "When did you find out?" Lily demanded. "Yesterday, but I wanted to tell everyone together." "MIT for biomedical engineering?" Grace asked. "I want to develop affordable medical devices for underserved communities," Emma explained. "Like, what if someone could have diagnosed my strep throat with a phone app and a cheap attachment? How many kids could avoid serious complications?" "That's brilliant," Michael said, meaning it. "What about you, Lily?" Rosa asked. "Where will you go?" Lily grinned. "Well, funny story. I also got into MIT. Different program, social entrepreneurship, but same school." "You didn't tell me you applied," Emma exclaimed. "I wanted it to be a surprise, if we both got in." "You planned this?" "Best friends forever means forever, Em, even at MIT." They hugged, both crying, while their families celebrated around them. These two girls who'd met over a shared piece of birthday cake would be heading to MIT together, ready to change the world in their own ways. Michael caught Sophia's eye across the table. She was crying too, but smiling through the tears. "Our girls," she mouthed. "Our girls," he agreed. Later, as the evening wound down and families began dispersing to their respective homes, Lily and Emma sat on the porch swing, looking at the stars barely visible through Austin's light pollution. "Scared about MIT?" Emma asked. "Terrified, you?" "Same, but we'll be together." "Together," Lily agreed, "like always. Remember when your dad asked me to share your birthday chair? You were so shy, you barely spoke. I thought I was in trouble for watching your party. And now look at us. Best friends." "Sisters," Lily corrected. "Sisters who happened to find each other over birthday cake." They sat in comfortable silence, two girls from different worlds who'd built a bridge of friendship that had carried both their families to new places. "We should write about it," Emma said suddenly. "Our story. For other kids who think friendship has to stay inside economic lines." "The birthday cake that built a bridge," Lily suggested. "Sharing more than cake, a friendship story." "We'll work on the title," they agreed, laughing. Inside, Michael stood at the window watching them, Grace beside him. "They're going to change the world," Grace said. "They already have. They changed ours. All from a birthday party in the park. All from a little girl who saw someone without cake and decided to share," Michael corrected. "The simplest acts of kindness create the biggest changes," Grace finished. As if hearing them, Lily looked back through the window and waved. Emma did too. Their parents waved back, all of them gathered at various windows. This extended, blended, chosen family that had been built on the foundation of a child's generosity. The next morning, a Saturday, both families met at Riverside Park, the same park where it had all begun. They were planting a tree, a Texas live oak that would grow strong and provide shade for generations. A small plaque at its base read, "The Sharing Tree." Planted by Lily Chen and Emma Rodriguez, best friends who proved that cake shared doubles in sweetness. May all who rest in its shade remember that kindness is the only currency that matters. As they took turns shoveling dirt around the tree's roots, other families stopped to watch. Some recognized them from news stories over the years. Others just saw two families working together, laughing together, being together. "Mama," a little boy asked his mother, pointing at the mixed group, "are they all family?" "It looks like it," the mother replied, "but they don't all look alike." "The best families rarely do," the mother said, smiling at Michael and Sophia, who'd overheard. "The best families are made of love, not just blood." The little boy considered this, "Like how we adopted my sister." "Exactly like that." After the tree was planted, they had a picnic in the same spot where Lily's 6th birthday had been held. No bounce house this time, no elaborate cake, just sandwiches and fruit and Rosa's homemade cookies. But the joy was the same, maybe greater, because it had been earned through years of choosing each other again and again. "I want to make a toast," Lily announced, raising her water bottle. "To Emma, who taught me that the best gifts are the ones you give. To our families who showed us that love doesn't care about bank accounts, and to birthday cake, which started it all." "To birthday cake," everyone echoed, laughing. "And to little girls who share it," Emma added, making Lily blush. As the afternoon wore on, children played, adults talked, and the newly planted tree stood witness to the continuing story of two families who'd become one, not through marriage or blood, but through the simple recognition that everyone deserved to be seen, to be included, to have cake on birthdays and love on all days. The ripples from that first shared slice continued spreading. The Sharing Cake initiative had gone national, with companies across America implementing dignity-based employment policies. The Chen Foundation had provided birthday parties for over 100,000 children. Emma's father, Marcus, had become a senior programmer and started a non-profit teaching coding to kids from backgrounds like his. But the biggest ripple was the hardest to measure. The countless children who'd heard Lily and Emma's story and looked past surface differences to find friendship. The parents who'd reconsidered their assumptions about who belonged in their social circles. The CEOs who'd recognized that their employees were humans with full lives and challenges, all because a 6-year-old girl had seen another child watching her birthday party and thought she should have cake too. Years later, when Lily and Emma had both graduated from MIT, when they'd started their company together, CakeShare Technologies, developing apps that connected those with excess to those in need, when they'd been featured on magazine covers and invited to speak at conferences, people would ask them about the secret to their success. "It's simple," Lily would say. "See people. Really see them. And when you see someone without cake," Emma would add, "share yours." "That's it?" skeptics would ask. "That's your business philosophy?" "That's our life philosophy," they'd answer together. "Business is just one way to live it." The company succeeded beyond anyone's imagination, but success was measured differently, not just in profits, but in impact. How many connections made? How many bridges built? How many children learned that friendship transcended circumstances? When they were 25, both successful entrepreneurs, they returned to Riverside Park for the 10th anniversary of the tree planting. The oak had grown strong and tall, its branches providing shade for dozens of families. Their families came too, older now but still bound together. Michael with silver in his hair, but the same kind eyes. Grace with laugh lines from years of joy. Sophia as dignified and hard-working as ever, but softened by security and love. Rosa, ancient now but still sharp, still making everyone eat more than they should. Marcus, proud of the daughter he'd once abandoned and then fought to deserve. The younger siblings, teenagers now, carrying on the tradition of friendship across lines. "Look what grew from shared cake," Rosa said, gesturing at the tree, the gathered families, the children playing in the shade who didn't know the story but benefited from its growth. "Abuela," Emma said, using the Spanish word for grandmother that she'd claimed for Rosa years ago. "It wasn't just cake." "No," Rosa agreed, "it was recognition." Little Lily recognized that Emma was a person who deserved cake. Everything else grew from that recognition. They sat under the tree, these two families that had become one, and watched new children play. Somewhere among them might be another Lily, ready to share, another Emma, hoping to be seen, another moment of kindness that would ripple outward in ways no one could predict. "Tell us the story again," begged Carmen, Emma's half-sister, now 13, and having heard it countless times. "It was Lily's 6th birthday," Emma began, as she always did. "The most perfect birthday party ever," Lily continued, "with a bounce house and balloons and the most beautiful cake. But the best part wasn't any of that. The best part was when I saw Emma watching from the trees. And Lily walked over with 2 pieces of cake, the piece with the unicorn horn, the best piece, and said, 'Do you want cake?' And I said yes, and everything changed." "Everything," they said together, looking at each other with the same wonder they'd had at 6, the recognition that they'd found not just friendship, but family, not just cake, but communion, not just a moment, but a lifetime of moments, all flowing from one child's decision to share. The story had been told so many times it had become legend, but it was also still immediate, still lived. Every Thursday dinner, every shared celebration, every challenge faced together was a continuation of that first moment of sharing. And in the shade of the sharing tree, as new children played and new friendships formed, the ripples continued spreading, carrying the simple but revolutionary message: see people, share cake, change everything. One slice, one smile, one moment of recognition at a time. Forever and always, just like best friends should be. The end. But really, just the beginning of countless other stories, each starting with someone seeing another person's need and choosing to share what they have. Because that's how the world changes, not all at once, but one piece of cake at a time. Thank you for experiencing this beautiful journey of childhood innocence, friendship, and the transformative power of sharing. If this story touched your heart, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell to join our community of people who believe in the power of kindness, especially the pure, uncomplicated kindness of children. Share this story with someone who needs to be reminded that the smallest gestures, like sharing cake with a stranger, can create ripples that transform entire families and communities. Remember, we all have something to share, whether it's cake, time, resources, or simple recognition of another person's humanity. Until next time, look for opportunities to share your cake, teach your children to see beyond circumstances, and never underestimate the power of a child's innocent kindness to change the world.